This is Beyond Blooket, engagement through cooperative learning. All the resources in today's presentation are hyperlinked either in the slide deck or I've shared additional resources in the speaker notes and given credit to where I've gotten these resources. And so where I am going with this is I'm presenting this as an Ignite session. So it's 5 minutes long. You'll have 20 slides and it is auto advancing. So this kind of promotes this bit of risk, like I'm for sure going to mess up in this. And if you like this strategy, you can see by the number 1, write that down so you know that later you want to come back to this slide and get the resources that I'm sharing with you. So student engagement doesn't happen from luck. It happens as a result of usually a lot of planning and the execution of some very specific strategies. And according to the highly engaged classroom, there are 4 questions students ask themselves, the answers of which determine how involved they're going to be in your classroom. How do I feel? Am I interested? Is this important? Can I do this? And the first 2 questions, they're more of a short-term interested phenomena, like can this hold my attention? Whereas the bottom 2 are the result of engagement and tend to last longer than a class period or a couple minutes. And so when we talk about student engagement, there are so many different strategies that we can talk about, but with the little bit of time that we have, I'm just going to be focusing on cooperative learning and the activities that come from this. So we're going to start real easy. This is number 2. Write it down if you like it, is station rotation. Students move between stations to complete tasks. They can be offline, they can be online, and one is typically devoted to a small group with a teacher. Now that can take a lot of planning for the teacher and can take the majority of class. So if you want something similar but a little smaller, try a chat station. And that's where students just answer a couple questions verbally perhaps. If you are not yet at the point where you feel comfortable with your students moving around, move the task to them with a group playlist with some specific instructions, several tasks, and label them for which group completes each. Number 5 is a playlist where students complete an individual activity. They then have a self or group check, and then they complete a collaborative task. So again, you like this, write number 5 and come back to the resources later. And these playlists don't have to be digital. Everything that I'm sharing today can be blended to have both an online and an offline component to them. So number 6, a silent conversation. So I like to put a provocative prompt or reading in the middle of a piece of chart paper. You could always use Jamboard for this as well, or a whiteboard. And then students make comments off of them and they comment off of each other. And this is great for math too. The Learning Network has lots of, what is this graph saying? What do you notice? What do you wonder? What conclusions can you make? And another one that I really like is hexagonal thinking. This is number 7. And this is where students are given a hexagon and with a word in the center or a big idea, and then they have to together decide how they are all connected. And we hope in these cases that students have really rich discussions and have to negotiate how they are connected. And you can go further by having students write off of a couple of these connections to further analyze. Number 8 is a fishbowl conversation. In a fishbowl, you have both an inner circle and an outer circle. The inner circle is where you have speakers. The outer circle is where you have active listening going on. And oftentimes in the inner circle, you may have an empty seat. So if a student from the outer circle wants to move in, they have the chance to do so. Fishbowls have the opportunity for plenty of scaffolds as well that are linked in this presentation speaker notes. The jigsaw is where students start in a home group where they are all given a different chunk of a related task or a different problem. They try and solve it out independently, and then they go to their expert group where they are all met together with students that had the same chunk. They discuss it, make sure they know how to teach it, and go back to the home group to teach it to the larger group and the different chunks so they get the larger picture at the end. So my time is up, but I wanted to connect you to even more cooperative learning strategies that I think are great. Think, pair, share, categories, caption this, dinner party, and a group Freyer model. Check them out and all the other links, resource in the speaker notes and on the